Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we have a couple of interesting topics to cover today, and we're going to get started right away with this headline from gamesindustry.biz. PlayStation 5 shipped 19 million units fiscal year 2022, which would have ended this past March. Game revenues up 33%, up to $26.5 billion. Now, I will point out that the 19 million units here are shipped and not sold. But either way, that's a pretty awesome number for PlayStation, and I'm using the word awesome as in its meaning of large. And the 19 million units shipped exceeds the projected 19 million units sold. And again, we're comparing shipped to sold, but I imagine the numbers aren't that much different. Obviously, sold will be less than shipped, but I do have to wonder if they did sell slightly less than that projected 18 million units, and that's why they're giving us the shipped number. And let's take a look here at some of the financial information that was released. You can see here under Game and Network Services, which is mostly PlayStation, you can see that sales were $26.5 billion. Which is up 33%. And then the bottom line here, you can see the PlayStation 5 units shipped was 19.1 million, which is up 66%. And those were the fiscal year numbers. Now, I wanted to look just at Q4, which was going to be starting from the beginning of this calendar year until basically the end of March. If we skip down to the games and network services, you can see sales were 8.1 billion, which is up 61% compared to the same period last year. And when we look at the PlayStation 5 units shipped, you can see 6.3 million, which is up 215%. Now, if you remember, we were having a lot of supply chain issues a year ago, and those definitely have been cleared up. And this number is double what PlayStation 4 has done in this same quarter. So basically the first 3 months of the calendar year. And I think these high numbers were possible because of the supply chain issues that you remember we all had. And I think there was just so much pent up demand that once those supply chain issues were resolved, the PlayStation 5 just sold like crazy. Now, one note on this next line of PlayStation Plus subscribers I thought was a little interesting. You can see there's 0% change compared to last year, which to me sounds a little bit odd because they did revamp PlayStation Plus since then. So to me that says they've not gained really any subscribers after that revamp, but maybe I'm just misreading this. Let me know if you heard anything different. And looking toward the future, Sony expects to ship 25 million PlayStation 5 consoles during this current fiscal year, which would end at the end of March in 2024. And if they did do that, this would be a record for PlayStation consoles sold in a year. So definitely a high bar to reach, but I know in the Famitsu sales charts that we see each week from Japan, the PlayStation 5 sales have been on the decline. But they are doing things like this Final Fantasy XVI bundle that may help boost those numbers back up. And then one last thing from these financial reports that I thought was interesting is that digital sales comprise 67% of PlayStation game sales. And that's only up 1% from last year. So it looks like we're getting closer and closer to that all digital future. So let me know what you think about these financial reports. It definitely seems to be a lot of positive news for the PlayStation brand. And finally, I thought we'd get a little bit more information about the Activision Blizzard acquisition, or the lack thereof, as it seemed to have been shut down by the UK CMA. Well, there's been a few interesting developments since then. First, we have this headline here from VGC. Ukraine's competition regulator has cleared Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Now, this would mark the 7th country to approve Microsoft's acquisition. However, the UK CMA is the only one so far that has blocked it. I know the FTC in the US is still pending, but there's not been an official block just yet. And since the announcement of that block by the CMA, the Activision CEO Bobby Kotick was in an interview with CNBC, and he said he expects the appeal to be on an accelerated timeline. The case is set to be reviewed by the UK's Competition Appeal Tribunal, and according to its website, it aims to complete straightforward cases in less than 9 months. And from that interview, we have a quote here from Bobby Kotick. This is transcribed by VGC. I think we and Microsoft and our barristers, who are lawyers who mostly specialize in courtroom advocacy and litigation, who are exceptionally experienced at judicial review, think that there's a way to accelerate the process and that the conclusions were so flawed that we should be able to get an accelerated result. So obviously he's going to put on a positive face here, but I really do feel like this is pretty much an uphill battle from here on out. As I've heard some lawyers say, appeals are for losers, so you definitely don't want to be on that side. But this hasn't stopped Microsoft to continue to try to reach more agreements when it comes to cloud streaming. We have an announcement here from Brad Smith. It says, Microsoft and European cloud gaming platform Nowhere, who I think is in Spain, have signed a 10-year agreement to stream PC games built by Xbox on its platform, as well as Activision Blizzard titles after the acquisition closes. While it's still early for the emerging cloud segment in gaming, this new partnership, combined with our other recent commitments, will make more popular games available on more cloud game streaming services than they are today. Now, this area where Nowhere operates isn't going to be in the UK, so it really doesn't have any effect on the CMA, but I'm sure it's going to be something else that they kind of bring up in these appeals. So if that appeal process is accelerated and a standard appeal would be about 9 months, we should have some resolution from the CMA about this by the end of the year. Honestly, don't have a whole lot of hope that the appeal is going to change much, but it would buy some time, maybe for Microsoft and Activision Blizzard to come up with something new, and maybe they try to start this whole process over again. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you think this deal is pretty much dead, or do you think the appeals might go through, or do you think they should either just give up or completely start over? And that's all I have for today. Make sure to leave a comment below if there was anything that caught your attention. And if you like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so. Only about 10% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so it would help the channel out a lot. I want to thank you for watching. Have a great weekend and be good.